I write songs and yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So
mainly what I do.
we have got Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast, iHeartRadio, coast to coast, border to border, iHeartRadio today, 50 plus AM FM stations across the country and around the world. So, tell us a little bit about your background, Piper.
Well, I grew up in Northern California between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe, and I've kind of been writing songs most of my life, and been doing that and riding horses, and I also was an athlete most of my life. So, kind of just I live in LA now, and write songs and sing them and record them, and yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. We've got Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, coast to coast, border to border, on iHeartRadio today, 50 plus AM FM stations across the country and around the world. So Piper, you have been doing this music thing for a heck of a long time. Talk to us a little bit about your musical heroes, influences, all these things. Tell us all about it.
Well, I grew up listening to a lot of like Willie Nelson and George Strait. My mom loves Bonnie Raitt, so I also grew up on her music, and those were some of my kind of early influences that I was hearing around the house. And in middle school I started listening to Taylor Swift, and that was what kind of got me more seriously into songwriting. And then also discovered Eric Church around then, and I would say he's probably my biggest songwriting influence. And I just kind of fell in love with it then. I'd always written, but I never really like tried to do it. I was like,
yep.
I was just like singing songs and like coming up with stuff. I wasn't trying to like write a song, So that was kind of when I started doing that, when I was about 11, and started playing guitar around then, and just kind of have never known how to make sense of myself or the world without doing that ever since then.
Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. So the brand new release, Jokes on Me. Piper, congratulations on this release, Jokes on Me. What inspired this particular story, and how did it come together for you in the studio?
Thank you. Well, this song I wrote about kind of, I had this breakup, and I was like, sort of at the point where I was like, oh, I'm over it. Like, even if you like called me up, I'd be like, no, like it's, like I'm wiser to this one now. Like I wouldn't fall for it. and then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, what would I actually do? Like, would I actually, be smart enough to not fall for that? And I kind of wrote this song as, imagining what would happen if this guy had called me. Luckily he didn't. And sort of as a reminder to myself to not be dumb and go for the toxic ex again. And so that was kind of how that came to be. And then we went in and recorded it a little while later, and it was quite a while before I released it after I recorded it, because I kept rewriting little parts of it, and then ended up going back in the studio and re-recording some of it with a new, I think it was the first verse that we redid. And so it was a bit of a long process with this one, but I'm really glad that we took the time to do that, because I feel like it turned out how it needed to. But yeah.
Fantastic. It is Piper Leone with us today, joins us live. Jokes on Me is the new release. That line, the drinks on you, but the joke's on me, is such a clever twist. Do you remember the moment you came up with it?
Oh, gosh. I don't remember what I was doing, but I remember it was definitely one of those hooks that, like, when I came up with it, I was like, oh, yes. And then I immediately looked up whether that already, like, that song already existed, you know? And it's like, as a songwriter, that's like such a common thing, I think, is to just be like, you come up with this great idea and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you're like, oh no, surely somebody's thought of this already. And so you like Google the lyrics and like it didn't pop up, and I was like, yes, thank God. So yeah, that was an exciting one to come up with. It was just, you know, one of those lines that you feel like drops out of the sky and you're like, wait, yeah.
We have got Piper Leone with us today. Joins us live here on our big broadcast. New release, Jokes on Me. Glide magazine described the track as a mix of 70s folk, country, and pop. Was that blend intentional, or did it just come naturally as you shaped the sound?
It just kind of was how it happened, you know. That was, it just sort of, you know. Oftentimes when I'm in the studio, I always at least co-produce all my stuff, and I always kind of have like I'm always sort of chasing what I feel like is like the sort of truest version of the song, and I'm just kind of like, it's, you know, in the studio, it's sort of trying to figure that out, and then honing in on that and actually making it happen. And it was just sort of like this song ended up sort of, you know, we were feeling out where that best version of it was, and this was kind of how that ended up.
Fantastic. It is Piper Leone, Jokes on Me, latest from her. The song feels both deeply personal and universally relatable. How do you walk that line in your writing?
Oh, well, thank you. I think, gosh, I think that I don't necessarily try to make it universal when I'm writing. I think that it just, that often like naturally happens when you write in a like personal way. Or at least, I mean, maybe it's just the, like, you know, my songwriting heroes and stuff, and like learning their techniques. And I think part of it is that when I write songs, I often am like trying to figure out how I feel about a situation, and it's like the writing of the song is sort of honing in on like the main truth of that, and wanting to say that in a kind of a new way, or a way that I haven't heard before, or that kind of makes me look at the situation in a new way. And I think often that like it's that makes me able to do that, and makes it feel, you know, relatable, even though it's like there's a lot of, you know, like the details are what specifically happened for me. And a lot of my favorite songs do that, so I think that's something I've always valued. But yeah.
Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big program. The new release is Jokes on Me. Songwriting and storytelling. Let's talk a little bit about it. You've said you sometimes write songs to keep yourself from doing something stupid. How often do the songs become your way of processing real-time emotions?
Oh gosh, I'd say pretty much all the time. I'm always writing, and I really don't know what I would do if I didn't write songs, because it's like, you know, it's kind of a way for me to be, to feel like I can channel a way that I feel, you know, into something. And like, you know, it's hard to sit oftentimes if you're having like a difficult emotion, you know, or like if you're angry or sad or, you know, something like that. It can be hard to like sit in that and not do anything about it, which often if you do something about it, it's, you know, the thing that you do is like not smart, like, you know, calling your ex or something like that, right? And so in those situations, I feel like songwriting gives me like a thing that I can do and feel like I'm doing something about it, and I'm doing something to help myself move through whatever it is that's going on and figure it out without wreaking havoc in my life.
We have got a great guest with us today. Piper Leone is with us. New release is Jokes on Me. Your songs balance humor, heartbreak, honesty in a really fresh way. Where does that voice come from, Piper?
Oh, you know, I think it comes from a lot of years of trying to figure out what my voice was. You know, I started writing songs when I was 11, and I didn't really like a song that I'd written until I was probably 19, and it just took a long time for me to sort of figure out where, you know, who I was, right? You know, I was in middle school and high school. You're still very much, I mean, you're always figuring out who you are, but it took me a while to figure out a solid, you know, my own identity, to the point where I had a solid base from which to speak when I was writing songs. And I think that that once I found that, I was able to that was able to be the constant, and I could write songs from that point of view and really understand myself in the context of the characters and a story and all of that. So I think it just comes from a lot of self-reflection and sort of learning who I am and how to speak from that place.
Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Piper Leone is with us. She joins us live here on our big broadcast, new release, Jokes on Me, and she joins us here on our big program. So how do you know when a song is done and ready to share with the world?
Ooh, in the sense of songwriting or in the sense of in the studio?
Both.
I'd say writing. I think that, one of the best pieces of songwriting advice that I ever got was to not get attached to, like, the first thing that you write, and to not be too precious about it, and to, write the song in service of the song and not get, like, attached to, like, the first line that you write in it or something like that. So I think when I'm trying to figure out if a song is done, I don't know. I always feel like I kind of just know. It's like, I have a sense of the central feeling of the song, and when the song's done, I can tell that, like, I've communicated that in the way that, it's hard to explain, because it kind of is just like, you kind of just feel it when it's done. In the studio, it's easy to keep going forever and just, like, nitpicking. And I think sometimes when I know it's done is when I get to a point where I'm like, oh, wait, let's listen to, like, the version from 2 hours ago. And if you realize the version from 2 hours ago is better than the nitpicked version that you've just gotten to, then you're like, oh, okay, it's done, and this was the spot where it was done. So sometimes, you have to go, like, past done to figure out where that point of done is. But ultimately, I think it's just, like, a sense of like, it feeling the most true and knowing that that's when it's finished.
Yeah. We have got Piper Leone with us today, Jokes on Me. She joins us live here on our big program, Coast to Coast, Border to Border on iHeartRadio today. So your style, your influences, and your evolution. You've cited Eric Church, Miranda Lambert, Taylor Swift as major influences. What have you learned from listening to or watching those artists over the years?
Oh, I think one of my favorite things about all of those songwriters is, it's I think that the cleverness of their songwriting and just I love a hook that lands like the punchline of a joke, and those. I think that's what connects with me the most about those artists, and that would be probably the main thing. The other thing is just, the learning about, what we were talking about before, about the sort of having a distinct voice, and all of those artists really have a very distinct voice, and that helped me, trying to write songs like those people, and ultimately failing because I am not those people, right? Taught me how to see that sense of identity in their work and how to figure out my own place to do that from. So I think ultimately the sense of the really clear sense of identity and the clever songwriting is probably the main things that I've gotten from them.
We have got a great guest with us today. Joins us live here on our big program. Absolutely amazing individual, Piper Leone, with us today. She joins us live here on our big program. We can hear touches of Bonnie Raitt, Joni Mitchell in your tone and phrasing. Do your parents' favorite artists still play a role in shaping your style today?
Oh, absolutely. I think in large part subconsciously, but I do listen to those artists as well, and those have, they've stayed, parts of my rotation of what I listen to, and I think that the music that you grew up on sort of like starts to run in your veins a little bit, and similarly to the way that we pick up our parents, mannerisms or, certain ways that they talk or laugh or whatever. I think that the music that they pass to us that they love, I think is, stays in those ways. And sometimes ways that it's hard to even pinpoint, but, I definitely think that they are still very much a part of my musical influences. Yeah.
Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Piper Leone with us on the big program via the telephone, and she joins us today here on our big broadcast. You've lived between Sacramento, Tahoe, now based in L.A. How does California influence your version of country music?
Oh, man. My family's been in California for a whole load of generations. I think my dad's side, they always say that I'm like seventh generation here or something. So I think it's being in California and being around horses in California specifically, which also runs in my family, is, I think, a very central part of just my identity. And identity is such a central part of, being a songwriter and an artist. And I think that sort of, in the same way that, you hear, like, in red dirt country, like that, the physical land that, people grew up on and in is, is such, like, a part of us. And I think, similar to that, the, like, light brown dust of, California is kind of a similar thing for me, and the dry grass and the mountains, and it just is a big part of who I am. And so I think it bleeds into my music in ways that I notice, but also in ways that I probably am not even aware of. I think it's a big part of that for me.
Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big program. And Joke's on Me is the latest from her. We're going to hear that here in just a few moments. She joins us here on our big program. So how do we find you online and social media and all these things?
Well, you can find me at Piper Leone. That's piperleone.com is my website, and I have links to all of my socials on there, and my Spotify page and everything. And I'm also at Piper Leone on pretty much everything. That's PiperLeone. And I try and keep everything up to date on those and take people along with me on the ride of, making this stuff and just going through all that. So that's where you can find me. And also, thank you so much for having me. This has been great chatting with you.
Oh, yeah. We've got Piper Leone with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. So, Joke's on Me is your third single after the next Crazy X and You and USC. How would you describe the arc of your artistry across these releases?
Oh, well, I'd say, Next Crazy X is one that, that's always a fun song for me to play, especially live. And that one it feels like a very much a younger version of me. Same with U and USC, because I wrote that one about, I wrote that one when I was in college and put it out when I was in college, and those are kind of both feel like younger versions of me, and Jokes on Me is, I think, closer to where I am now. But yeah, I've been working on an EP, and that's kind of, I'm excited to have more material out, to have, a more different sides of my writing available for people to listen to, because I think the songs that I have out are only kind of a small snapshot of what I see as sort of the entirety of my songwriting and who I am as an artist. So, yeah.
We've got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. Piper Leone with us today. Jokes on Me is the latest from her. Holler is featuring your song on their Best New Country Songs playlist. That's a big moment. How does it feel to be gaining some national attention?
Oh, that was so cool when I found out about that. It's really exciting. It's cool to start to feel like, things are actually, like, the needle is moving. It's easy, especially in the world of social media and music. It's easy to sometimes feel like you're releasing music into the abyss, and it's, even if you're posting about it, sometimes you're like, where is this? I'm a musician, not, social media guru or something. So it's like, figuring that out is one aspect, but it's really cool to start to see people, take notice and enjoy it. It's very rewarding. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got Piper Leone with us today. The latest is Jokes on Me. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. So, continuing on here with Piper, we are going to be playing that new track here in just a few moments. When you're not riding or performing, you're still riding horses. What role does that lifestyle play in grounding or inspiring your music?
Oh, man, I think it keeps me very in the moment. That's one of the things I love the most about horses is the way that they do that. You really have to be present, or else they will know, and you will, have to face the consequences of that. But yeah, I have always loved horses, and that's always been a really important thing to me, and I think that kind of brings me a sense of groundedness in myself that is a really good place for me to be in when I'm writing songs. So I find that I'm often writing, the more time I'm spending with horses and riding and stuff, the better the songs I'm writing are. So I think that's kind of the main one is keeping me solid in myself. Yeah.
We have got Piper Leone with us today. Jokes on Me, that's the latest from her. She joins us here on iHeartRadio. Now, you've been a nationally ranked athlete, now a rising country star. What's something surprising those two worlds have in common?
Oh, wow. I think probably the level of maybe the dedication that's required for both of those things. I think that being an athlete really taught me how to the importance of, like, showing up and being consistent in what I'm working on, and also just, something that I learned a lot from sports was the kind of imaginary nature of our limits, and that really taught me that, like, if you think this is how far you can go, you can always push a little bit harder and dig a little deeper and, go a little faster, get a little higher on, in those goals. And I think that really helped me to have a sense of being able to do that with music as well, and not feeling discouraged by large scale goals. I think that's probably a big one.
We have got a great guest with us today. Piper Leone is with us. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. 12 minutes after the hour, you're listening to the Sunday radio show here on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island. So if you could go back and play one of your songs for a younger self, maybe that freshman year of college, what one would it be and why?
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. I think, I have a couple different things come to mind. The first one that comes to mind is Next Crazy Ex, because my first year of college, I would have been, the boyfriend that I had at the time was the boyfriend that I wrote that song about, and I think it would have been helpful for me to hear that song at that point to realize what was going on in that relationship. But I think in terms of music, I have, one of my songs that's going to be on my EP is called Blisters, and that one, I think that's one that I would play for myself then, but because that's a song I'm really proud of, and I think it would be cool for that version of myself to see the progress that I'd made with songwriting, but also to see that I was in a place in my life to write a song like that that's more of a love song, and I think it would be cool for my younger self to see that. Jokes on Me would also be fun to play, because that, I'm really proud of that one. But yeah.
Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big program. So before we wrap things up here with you, how do we find you online, social media, everything?
Well, you can find me on my website, which is piperleone.com, Piperleone. And I'm also Piper Leone on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might, whatever, your chosen social media platform is. And, and Piper Leone on Spotify and all the online music streaming platforms and stuff, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on and chatting. We will talk to you soon. Have yourself a blessed rest of your day. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day. That goes Piper Leone, Jokes on Me, right now here on your big program.
I told my friends I'm done with him, and I told myself that too. Put the pictures in a box on a shelf in the closet behind some bags and shoes. But maybe it was just 'cause you were out of sight that you were off my mind. 'Cause when you asked to take me out for drinks to catch up, thought I'd be fine. But I can't help now that I'm here, seeing your eyes through a couple beers, forgetting common sense and thinking this is when you change. 'Cause you're still funny, you still know just how to make me lose control. And babe, I guess deep down control. And baby, guess deep down I know that you're still playing games. You made me fall again and then you pay the tab and leave. So the drink's on you, but the joke's on me. Did you know what you were doing? Did you plan it out this way? Did you just come here to leave and watch me wishing you would stay? 'Cause I can't help now that I'm here, seeing your eyes through a couple beers, forgetting common sense and thinking this is when you change. 'Cause you're still funny, you still know just how to make me lose control. And babe, I guess deep down I know that you're still playing games. You make me fall again and then you pay the tab and leave. So the drink's on you, but the joke's on me. Yeah, the drink's on you, but the joke's on